3 sessions to build into your week. Let's go! Hello everybody, my name is Ben Parks, 236 marathon and ultra runner. Now what I want to talk to you today about is sessions and how we build these into our week, and I've got 3 really good examples of sessions that you can do, and these are designed for runners of all abilities, whether you're a complete beginner to up to more advanced people, maybe trying to break 3 hours in the marathon for example. So what I talk to you first about is hill repeats, and then we're going to talk about intervals, and then we're going to talk about strides. Now I should also note here that it's really important to build in a nice warm-up before all of these runs that you do. So what I mean by that is maybe 10 to 15 minutes of super easy jogging, just get the body nice and loose. We don't want to be tearing into these sessions which we're going to really sort of increase our risk of potentially getting an injury. And equally at the other end, make sure you do a nice cool down. Now all these sessions are things that I do. I mix them in every week, normally spread out over about a 3-week period with these 3 sessions. So hopefully they're things that you're going to find really helpful and build into your routine as well. So without further ado, let's get going. So here we have number 1, which is hill repeats. So what you want to do is try and find yourself a nice hill, probably something around 100, 200 metres in length. I'm here in Greenwich Park in London, very lucky to live really close to here. So yeah, just something around your house that's going to give you a nice concerted effort as you run up the hill. So what are hill repeats? Well, essentially we're looking to go up, fire ourselves up the hill at around about our 5k pace, so really sort of a decent effort, really get the heart rate going, get our leg cadence up, get that turnover up, and then we're looking to return back down the hill at a nice sort of recovery, relaxed pace, bring the heart rate right back down and recover. So why are we doing this? Well, essentially we're looking to really sort of strengthen up our legs. It's a really good workout to be doing without having that massive impact on our body that a lot of more traditional strength workouts can do. It really helps improve our aerobic capacity, our VO2 max, just to get the heart rate up and then get it recovering as well on those, when we're going downhill. It really helps improve our form, helps increase our get our cadence up, and ultimately our stride length as well, as our leg strength really improves. So how are we going to go about this? Well, what we want to be doing is leaning nicely into the hill. So that's leaning from your ankles, leaning forward rather than leaning from the hips. So leaning from the ankles, and that's going to naturally propel you into the hill and up it. We want to be looking at shortening our stride length slightly and increasing our cadence to get that leg turnover up. Is going to really help us sort of propel ourselves up the hill there. Now what sort of effort do you want to be doing? Well, for a lot of people you want to be looking about sort of 80 to 85%, which is probably going to be about your 5k pace to propel yourselves up the hill. There's going to be a number of different number of repetitions we're going to go up, so we don't want to expel all of our energy on that first rep, because then we're going to have nothing left to give on the remaining few. So how many are we going to be doing? Well, sort of beginners, you're probably looking sort of 3 to 4 reps up the hill. More sort of intermediate runners, 5 to 6, maybe even 7, and more advanced runners probably doing this almost to failure, really, to 7, 8, 9, 10, that sort of thing. Just so when you're on that last one, you really feel like you're going to give it your absolute all to get up the hill. So a little bit of advice, I would always say try and pick 2 points on the hill, one where you start at the bottom of the hill and one where you turn around at the top. It'll really give you something to focus on as you're driving yourself up the hill. When you're recovering, really super relaxed, super easy. Don't worry about how long it takes you to get back down. The ultimate goal of that is just to bring your heart rate right back down to sort of well sort of below that sort of 150 beats a minute, just nice and relaxed, so by the time you get to the bottom of the hill you're ready to charge right back up to the top again. So I'm going to go and show you what that looks like in practice. And there we have number 10 for me. Whew. Really want to feel like you've given it your maximum effort, and really make sure that you do a nice cool down afterwards. You're going to be a little bit stiff probably, so nice and easy, nice relaxed walk or cool down back home to go with the little warm down you did before we started the session. So there we go. Let's go on to number 2. So moving on to number 2, which is intervals. So essentially, what are intervals? Well, they tend to be over a set distance or a set period of time where we're going at a faster pace than the average pace for the whole run as such. So we're putting ourselves at a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of extra speed and pace there just for that short period of time, and then soon after that we're then recovering, relaxing, bring the heart rate right back down. So essentially we're raising the heart rate and then we're bringing it straight back down again. So why are we doing these? Well, it's very similar to a lot of the 3 things I'm talking about today. It really helps improve the strength in our muscles, and probably with this one more so than others, it really helps improve our VO2 max, our aerobic capacity. You've got to remember, our heart's a muscle, so a lot of what we do day to day, it doesn't really change much. It stays at that sort of resting state. So to put it at that level of discomfort and then recover straight away, it stretches it, it grows it, it helps to improve, and it means it can pump more oxygen around the body, which is obviously the most important thing with running. It makes sure that we can run for longer, and also you can do these for a time specific goal as well. So a really common one is sort of 6 by 3 minutes. So that's 6 times with 3 minutes at that all-out pace, which are really good for more sort of beginner to newer runners to do, because they know they can count it down on their watch for how long that's exactly going to take. So look, mentally that can be a little bit difficult as well. But if you put a few examples up on the screen now, so yeah, just pick a few, see what sort of distance you're training for, and then give it a go. Now, really important, again, similar to the hill repeats there, recoveries on this is super relaxed. The main important goal is to bring your heart rate, which could be up at around 180 plus beats a minute, to bring that right back down to less than sort of 150. So if you're using a heart rate monitor or things, you might be right up at zone 5. Try to bring that right down back into the middle of zone 2. So for an example here, I'm going to be doing some 400 meter repeats. Now I've measured out a little course which is finishing at the camera here. So I'm going to be going all out. So probably for about 400 meters, it's going to be about 90% effort for me. As soon as I get to the camera, it's then going to be going to really relaxed, chilled recovery pace for 60-second recovery. And then I'll be sort of doing that on a small loop to come back round. And yeah, just really concentrate on your form, getting your legs turning over, getting that cadence nice and high, and then relaxing, just super chilled. Some people like to just stop altogether, which is fine, and some people like just to keep things turning around, just sort of walking around, or just that small, slow recovery jog. So let's give it a go. So number 3 is going to be strides. So essentially, what are strides? Well, strides are a really short period of distance or period of time, usually around about 100 to 150 meters or 20 to 30 seconds, where we're going for a really hard effort. So in percentage terms, that's going to be about 90 to 95%, really sort of giving it your all, really hard effort, get that heart rate up and get our legs turning over really quickly. So when do we usually do these? Well, after an easy run is probably the most common thing that people do. So you tend to go out for sort of whatever your easy run is, 5, 10, 20k, whatever it is, and then do these at the end of that run. It just helps really freshen up your legs. It helps increase our strength and really sort of helps get the most out of that session. You can always mix these into an easy run as well. I quite like to, if I'm going out for maybe a 10k run, every kilometre I'll do a quick little burst during that kilometre. At some period during that kilometre, I'll do a quick little burst of speed and then relax. It just helps keep things fresh, it keeps things interesting, and yeah, it just makes things a little bit more fun. So why are we doing things like strides? Well, there's 3 main benefits. The first one being, it really is getting ourselves to run at a high intensity period, gets our legs turned over, but we're not actually sort of putting massive fatigue into our legs, so we're able to recover really quickly from that sort of intense effort that we're putting ourselves into. It helps really improve our form, and it also helps improve our stride length as well. They're the 3 main benefits. When we're running at that sort of intense speed, we really concentrate so much more on our form. It gets our leg cadence going up, that turnover really improves. So let's go and I'll show you a few stride sessions now that I'm going to do, so follow along. there we go guys, 3 really great sessions there for you to build into your week, or probably better over a 2-week period. I think if you're one of those kind of runners that goes out running at the same sort of pace and intensity throughout the week, you're really going to see a big benefit by building some of these sessions into your week. And also, really importantly, make sure you're doing that warm up and warm down, nice and easy, cool, relaxed running, 10 to 15 minutes either end of the session. So there we have it guys. If you like these kind of videos, please give me a thumbs up, that would be really great. Subscribe below and leave a comment below with anything you think's interesting, anything you're doing, any sessions that work for you, or anything you'd like to see in the future. I'll see you in the next one.